Can someone please tell me what the heck is going on this year? This has been the weirdest year I have ever experienced. And just the icing on the cake, Dave Dombrowski going to the Phillies. What is going on? I have no idea what's going on. We're going to dive into that tonight. James McCann, are you going to the Mets? Are you not going to the Mets? What are you doing? Please tell me what you're doing. I got to know what you're doing. Joe Musgrove, he's drawing some trade interest. No surprise there. We'll look more into that. And what do you know? The Blue Jays are interested in another player. I think the Blue Jays are just interested in everything this offseason. Will Justin Turner become a Blue Jay? We'll dive into it. What the heck? Dave Dombrowski to the Phillies? What is going on?
Wake up the dumb bambino and have me face him. Maybe I'll drill him in the ass.
And what's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? What the heck is going on? I don't know what's going on. Dave Dombrowski to the Phillies? I thought Dave Dombrowski was starting a team in Nashville, and all of a sudden now he's supposedly going to be running the Phillies. I'm at a loss for words. This is the weirdest year I have ever experienced. I don't know what to say. I don't know. But Dave Dombrowski looking like he's going to go to the Phillies. We got some news to talk about tonight. I'm seeing a good amount of people in here so far. We're up to 29 people. I'll wait a couple minutes before we get started. Wait for some more people to file on in. I hope everyone is having a great day. I think today is Thursday. Is today Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. Hope everyone is having a good Thursday. If you have not seen the video I just posted, the reason I'm running a little late tonight is because I was making this video. Everything was going swimmingly while editing it. And then all of a sudden, one little issue popped up, and that created another issue, and then that created another issue, and then something else happened, and then something else happened, and next thing I know, I'm running late. But I did just post this video. Who is Tomoyuki Sagano? He was just posted a few days ago, so teams are free to bid on his services. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, or just go check it out at the end of this stream. But that is available to watch. But again, hope everyone is having a great day. I'm seeing familiar faces in the chat. David Knight, Joe Schubert. Farts Today. What a great name. You know, I like it. I like that name. I like it. Ramon Vlogs, Michael Lopez, hello. Jesse Burns, Jackson, thank you very much for coming on in. Where is the Calf Neck Army, Jackson? Where is the Calf Neck Army? It looks like we've scared them off. Will they make their return one day? We'll have to wait and see. But let's just get into the news. I have been wanting to talk about this all day. If you don't know, I am a teacher. I was at school. My kids were working on something. Next thing I know, my phone buzzes. All of a sudden, who was it that tweeted it? Was it John Heyman? Or was it Ken Rosenthal? It was one of those. And all of a sudden they said, Dave Dombrowski is going to the Phillies. I just laughed at my phone. I didn't even know how to react to that. Come on. That is just the weirdest thing. You can't discredit what Dave Dombrowski has done in the game of baseball. I mean, the guy, wherever he goes, he just wins. But while also with the winning, he'll completely gut your farm system. And he'll probably add on a couple of bad contracts or two. But you can't discredit the fact that everywhere Dave Dombrowski goes, sorry about that, he wins. So that is going to be our first story of the night. So I don't know what the heck's going on. Phillies to hire Dave Dombrowski. It's a little confusing to me in a couple of aspects because I just don't know what the heck the Phillies are even doing right now. It just seems like they're a mess. Are they going to bring back J.T. Realmuto? Signs are pointing towards no. And then all of a sudden, you got Dave Dombrowski coming in. So what was going on before Dave Dombrowski came in? So according to my reading, I will try and get back to this article here. Let me come back to you. So let's just get right to where I saw this. So here we go. It was John Heyman that first reported it. So let's share the screen. Here we go. So yeah, I guess I'm guessing it looks like it's official. Dave Dombrowski is now the new baseball president for the Phillies. Big hire. It still blows my mind a little bit. I'm just like, what? Because I mean, first off, it's like he had just been let go by the Red Sox just so recently. His name was involved with possibly starting up a new franchise in Nashville. There wasn't really many things going on with that. And then all of a sudden, the Phillies are having all these problems financially. And then all of a sudden, he's the baseball president of operations for the Phillies. It's like, what is going on? This is so weird. I don't know what to say. Robert, I do agree, though. He is a proven winner. Absolutely. The Leopard, look at the comments. What comments? Yeah, Dave Dombrowski screws the teams over when he finishes. I mean, hey, it's kind of the way you look at it. You know what I mean? It's like, what would you rather do? Would you rather win a championship or go through all these moves, big signings, trade away your prospects and win a championship? Or would you rather kind of float around in contention every year and possibly not win a World Series? So it's kind of the way you look at it. You know, yeah, me personally, hey, I'm all about winning World Series. So I kind of more liked the Theo Epstein approach where he was able to acquire big talent, but he also was very good at replenishing the farm system. Dave Dombrowski did pretty good with getting some good prospects for the Expos and also getting a couple of decent prospects for the Marlins as well. And we'll go over that here in a second, but it's still just blowing my mind just a little bit to see Dave Dombrowski as the new president of baseball operations for the Phillies. It just feels so odd just because of where the Phillies are at. Like supposedly they can't re-sign anyone because they don't have any money. They lost billions of dollars supposedly. So this to me seems like you're bringing in a Dave Dombrowski to. It seems like this whole front office is just a mess right now. And it's like, all right, we need to bring in a proven guy to get this whole thing straightened out. And we're going to bring in the best guy we know that's available, a guy that has been a proven winner over the years with the Marlins, brought the Tigers to the World Series, won a World Series for the Red Sox. I mean, honestly, I'm not discrediting anything Dave Dombrowski has done. I mean, I think he's fantastic. I mean, the guy simply just wins. Sure, he's going to give up some prospects along the way. Sure, he's going to probably give out a bad contract or two along the way. But the guy simply just wins. What I'm more concerned about is the Phillies themselves. I mean, hey, if this is the move they're trying to make to kind of try and get things in order, then yeah, that's what it seems like to me. Now, the question is what are they going to do? I don't know what the Phillies are going to do here. So now getting on to the next thing is what do they have? I mean, let's hold on. Let me go to the depth chart here for the Phillies real quick. If you look, I'm going to pull up their depth chart and I'm going to pull up their top prospects. So with Dave Dombrowski, because honestly, when you really think about the Phillies, the way I look at the Phillies is they have a lot of talent on that team, but they're still just not quite good enough to get there to really be a serious contender. And then, but when you look at the farm system, there's just not really too much going on there either. They do got some pretty decent guys. Like you got a Spencer Howard up there at the top. They just drafted a Mick Abel. I mean, they got a couple of guys here. But like I said, Bryson Scott, their number 2 prospect, he's still pretty far away. I mean, like I said, they just drafted Mick Abel. Who knows how that's going to turn out. Francisco Morales, he could be ready soon. Medina, he could be ready soon. But you got like a guy like Luis Garcia's kind of far away. I mean, you do have Rafael Marchand. I mean, he could be a possibility to take over. JT Realmuto, maybe. I don't know if they still think he's a bit far away. I mean, they did just draft a Casey Martin, but other than that, it's just like you don't really have like a ton. Like Dave Dombrowski is really gonna have to work that magic. The one thing the Phillies need, they need bullpen. They need a bullpen. That bullpen was atrocious for the last couple of years, especially last year as well. They did make a couple of moves. They brought in a Brandon Workman, and it just didn't work out. So with the rotation, I think the rotation is respectable. I think it's very top-heavy. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. And speaking of Zach Wheeler, that's kind of where I'm getting at here, where it's like you're hearing rumors of Zach Wheeler maybe being traded. And there was the whole thing with the Phillies coming out and saying, well, we wouldn't even, take a Babe Ruth for a Zach Wheeler. We like Zach Wheeler that much. But it's like they're like backtracking on those comments or like the rumors and whatever. But then other people all over baseball were saying, no, like Zach Wheeler's name has come up in, talks, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think if you're a good general manager, if you're a good president of baseball operations, everyone should be, everyone should have their names talked about at some point. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that teams haven't called about a Garrett Cole? I mean, obviously they're going to say no, but I'm sure there's at least one team out there that says, hey, what are you thinking about Garrett Cole? I don't know. It's a lot of money. What do you think? Probably not, but you know what I mean? As a good general manager, you want to check all avenues. You want to check off all of your boxes. And so it wasn't surprising to me to see Zach Wheeler's name come up. But then it was just the fact that they were backtracking on it. And you know what I mean? Where it's like they didn't even know what was kind of going on. They didn't even know what to say. It just felt like there was no direction going on here. You don't know what's going on with JT Realmuto. Bryce Harper is probably unhappy about that. You don't know what's going on with this Phillies team. So to me, the way this looks is you're bringing in a guy that has not just one, but he has just had success over the years. If you take a look at what Dave Dombrowski has been able to do, so once again, giving credit, John Heyman was the first to report on it. So if we go take a look here at what Dave Dombrowski has been able to do. So if we go take a look, of course, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because I'm very familiar with Dave Dombrowski as a general manager. He was just the president of baseball operations for the Red Sox. So, he came in 2016? And then they made the playoffs, got knocked out. 2017 got knocked out, and then they won the World Series in 2018. There were a lot of moves. I'm not going to lie. That was an exciting time. You brought in a guy like Craig Kimbrell. You brought in a David Price. You brought in Chris Sale. You brought in Nathan Eovaldi. There was a lot of moves. Look at all these moves. You had Craig Kimbrell. You did give up a bit for Craig Kimbrell. You did have to give up Emmanuel Margot, who was just recently playing in the World Series. He made a couple of trades that looked really good at the time, and they just didn't pan out. You got a Carson Smith. At the time, he was a very good relief pitcher for the Mariners, and he just didn't work out. They did acquire an Aaron Hill at one point. He was pretty good. Brad Ziegler they did acquire at one point. They got Drew Pomeranz at one point. He got a lot of like bullpen arms along the way, but that didn't really pan out very much. You got a Tyler Thornburg. That didn't really pan out. Travis Shaw ended up having a good season after that, but now look at Travis Shaw, not really doing too much. But the big one right here was Chris Sale. Now, this is the one where you look back on it and you're like, ugh. You got Chris Sale for a lot. You signed him to an extension for a lot of money. And then he had Tommy John. He still has a lot left on that contract. So that contract could end up still being pretty good. But you had to give up a Yohan Moncada. You had to give up a Michael Kopech. So you did have to give up a good amount of talent right there. Right now I still think, hey, whatever. We had Chris Sale and we won a World Series. So you can't really say that was a bad trade. In my opinion, it was a good trade. When we got Chris Sale, I ripped my pants off and ran around in my freaking parking lot where I live. It was awesome. I was like, holy crap, we got Chris Sale. So, that to me, when Dave Dombrowski came into the Red Sox, that was the first thing. You knew Dave Dombrowski was going to make moves. You knew he was going to make trades. You knew he was going to sign guys. So, but then he also made a couple of other key acquisitions too. Eduardo Nunez, he was a big part of that World Series team. He did bring in an Addison Reed at one point. That was another bullpen arm, to try and stabilize that bullpen a little bit more. He ended up doing pretty good for the Red Sox. So I mean, Nathan Eovaldi, look at what he did, in the playoffs in 2018, very good. He did have to give up a Jalen Beeks. Jalen Beeks did just have, I think he just had Tommy John surgery, right? But Jalen Beeks ended up being a pretty good relief pitcher for the Rays. But in my opinion, Nathan Eovaldi, he's still with the Red Sox. And now when you look at his contract, we'll have to see how the rest of that contract goes. But with the Nathan Eovaldi, that's still, he had a pretty good year last year. So he's been dealing with injuries here and there, but you got to, and then again, like you kind of got all these other little pieces. And then Dave Dombrowski was dismissed during the 2019, near the end of the 2019 season. So when I look at a Dave Dombrowski, I can't be mad at what the guy did. I mean, sure, there was a lot of young talent that we gave up. I mean, when you look at these guys, the guys that we gave up, Manuel Margot, that's a name that really kind of jumps off, where it's like, Manuel Margot might still be pretty good. But we had Mookie, we had Jackie Bradley, we had Benintendi, so it's not like we really needed Manuel Margot. There's not really like a lot of names. Like I liked when we got Drew Pomeranz, and then he kind of ended up being a bust for the Red Sox, but he's turned it around more. With the Padres, I did like Anderson Espinoza. A lot of people were comparing him to the next Pedro Martinez. There wasn't like a huge crazy amount when you kind of look at what he gave up. I mean, the biggest ones he gave up were Yoan Moncada and Michael Kopech. So Yoan Moncada, he has potential to be an MVP player. Michael Kopech, he hasn't really put it all together just yet. He's still very young and he throws gas. So, I mean, he was having kind of some off the field issues. So who knows how that would have worked out in Boston? I don't know. So, either way, though, we did give up a Jalen Beeks. When you really think about it, the stuff that Dave Dombrowski did, it's not really like a lot of these players are kind of, like they would have been like really good players. You haven't really seen any of these names besides a couple. So overall for the Red Sox, I loved what Dave Dombrowski did for the Red Sox, but I do think it was time to transition to a guy like a Chaim Bloom, because I think even though a lot of these guys didn't really fully pan out with other teams, it's still a lot of prospects, still a lot of young players, and that farm system really has to be replenished. So that's why Chaim Bloom came along. He came along to really get this farm system a little more beefed up again. And so, but that's what Dave Dombrowski's going to do. That's why he's got the nickname Dealin' Dave. So, overall, I love Dave Dombrowski with the Red Sox. He made a lot of great moves, and we won a World Series. That's the whole goal, right? Sure, it'd be nice to have your team in the playoffs every single year, but if you're not winning a World Series, then what's the point? So, even like with Nationals fans, David Knight, you're in the chat. The farm system's not looking all that great right now, but you got a World Series. So, at the end of the day, that's the goal. Of course, you want to be consistent every single year. Of course, that is the goal. That's why Theo Epstein was so good with the Red Sox. When he came over in 2004, Dan Duquette did a lot of that for the 2004 team. He brought on a lot of key pieces for that 2004 Red Sox team. But Theo Epstein also did too. But Theo Epstein also really rebuilt that farm system, and then he was able to win the 2007 World Series championship. And then he had a couple of pieces as well that he added to the farm system that helped the 2013 team. So you need to have both. You can't really just, one way or the other. And that's why the Red Sox are just so up and down every single year. It's not that he just gutted the farm. It was just like a lot of these guys, they can't stay consistent every single year too. Like a Nathan Eovaldi, he was injured after that awesome 2018 postseason run that he had. So overall, moving on from my Red Sox, there was also the Tigers too. If you go look at the Tigers ended up not being able to win it, but the Tigers had a really competitive team in the mid-2000s, made it to the World Series in 2006. He made a lot of good acquisitions for the Tigers as well. Dimitri Young, who remembers that? You had Jeff Weaver, Carlos Pena. Carlos Pena ended up being a really good piece for the Tigers. He ended up getting a Carlos Guillen. He ended up getting, who remembers Placido Polanco? He was very solid at one point. So Sean Casey. Who remembers Sean Casey? That was an awesome trade deadline move. They ended up being really good. He had a really good World Series that year. He made a couple other moves. And he got Miguel Cabrera. Remember he got Miguel Cabrera? That was an awesome move, too. And don't forget the Tigers made it to the World Series again against the San Francisco Giants. So he didn't get a World Series out of it. But, again, I mean, this was, as it says right here, this was his greatest trade ever. You got Miguel Cabrera, one of the best players of all time. He brought in a guy like Matt Joyce and Edwin Jackson. And then he did bring in a Max Scherzer as well. I mean, wow, I'm kind of running through this list, and I'm like, it's all coming back to me now. So he ended up getting a Max Scherzer. That Tigers team in 2013 was really good. They just happened to run into that Red Sox team. They ran into David Ortiz. They ran into Shane Victorino in Game 6. I mean, that Tigers team was really good in 2013. An awesome team in 2013. The Tigers were really good for a lot of years. And Dave Dombrowski was very good. Did a lot of good moves. Like a Johnny Peralta, Doug Fister. That ended up being Doug Fister was pretty big in that playoff in the playoffs in 2013. He had one really good outing against the Red Sox in that series. He got Delman Young, Anibal Sanchez. I mean, there's a lot of good moves that he made. But even going back before this doesn't even show Ivan Rodriguez, Maglio Ordonez, Kenny Rogers. Those three were big with the Tigers in 2006. And then you got David Price. Wow, he made a lot of moves with the Tigers. I'm so glad I found this article. Yeah, David Price. I mean, there's like so many moves. He didn't get he did trade for David Price, but then he also traded away David Price too. So a lot of moves. A lot of moves with Dave Dombrowski. I mean, so many. You keep going down this list. The Red Sox made a trade with Yoenis Cespedes. They got that was for Rick Porcello, right? But yeah, Oh wait, was Dave Dombrowski with the Red Sox at this point? I can't remember. I'm going completely blank on that, but whatever. He was involved in that Yoenis Cespedes trade with Rick Porcello. But either way, Dave Dombrowski. But then if you go back even further. Look at this Marlins team that he helped. This is the first bit of success that he was having. This Marlins team was really good. He brought in a lot of these guys. He had Kevin Brown. I mean, what was another one? I think he got Moises Alou in one of the trades. I think he had, Craig Counsell? I think Craig Counsell he brought in. He ended up being pretty good with the Marlins. I mean, look at this team. He had Gary Sheffield, Levon Hernandez, Edgar Renteria. I believe he drafted, I think Edgar Renteria was drafted by the Marlins. Let me actually check that real quick. Edgar Renteria, were you drafted by the Marlins? I think he was. Or did he sign as an international free agent? Did he get drafted? I think he signed. It doesn't say. Whatever. Edgar Renteria, that guy ended up having the game-winning hit for the World Series. I mean, look at this team. A really good team, I mean, come on. Look at that. A younger Gary Sheffield at the time. Look at the pitching that they had. This Marlins team was great. Kevin Brown, Al Leiter. I mean, a really solid pitching staff right there. You had Rob Nen. I remember Rob Nen on MVP Baseball 2005, 2004. Oh, Rob Nen was nasty in those games. A young Dave Dombrowski built this team, and then, as we all remember with the Marlins, they completely got rid of everyone after that season. They couldn't afford all these guys. So when they got their World Series rings the next season, half of their team was just gone. But either way, Dave Dombrowski, everywhere he's gone, he has made a difference. He has made winners. Look at how good he was. I mean, he didn't get a World Series with the Tigers, but look at how competitive that Tigers team was over the years. Real quick, going back to the Red Sox here. A lot of these guys, he didn't draft like Mookie Betts. That was Ben Cherington. But, he brought in a lot of guys. He brought in J.D. Martinez. He did bring in David Price. There was a lot of good things that he did. He brought in Rick Porcello. He brought in Craig Kimbrell. There's a lot of good things that he did with the Red Sox. And sure, the Red Sox are down in the dumps right now. They're an absolute dumpster fire. But Dave Dombrowski made the right moves. Again, going back to this 2006 Tigers team. Look at this Tigers team. It was so good. I loved this Tigers team at the time. My Red Sox, they didn't even make the playoffs that year. But you had Carlos Guillen had a really good year. Verlander. I mean, goodness, Curtis Granderson was right there. I mean, he signed Kenny Rogers. He was towards the end of his year. Remember the Pine Tar in that World Series? Was that the World Series or was that the ALCS? But whatever. But he had the Pine Tar. I mean, God, yeah, I love the Ivan Rodriguez move. I remember when Ivan Rodriguez signed with the Tigers, people were thinking, huh? The Tigers were coming off of like this terrible season in 2004, and he was able to bring in Ivan Rodriguez. So, he brought in Maglio Ordonez that next year, and Maglio Ordonez was a pretty good contributor for that Tigers team. So Dave Dombrowski, I think if you're a Phillies fan, I think you got to kind of look at it in two ways. I think you need to kind of think, well, all right, we're getting this guy who's gonna bring in, he's probably, you gotta have faith in this guy because everywhere he's gone, he has just made a difference. And with Dave Dombrowski, he's going to have a bit of a challenge because he doesn't have really like this great farm system. If we actually go real quick, I want to take a look at the top prospects. I know we were looking at the Phillies prospects just a second ago, but I want to take a look at the top prospects in all of baseball and see where do these guys rank. Right now, I'm seeing, so Spencer Howard's at number 28. So their best prospect is the 28th ranked prospect in all of Major League Baseball. Keep going down the list. I'm not seeing any Phillies. No Phillies. Okay, here we go. Mick Abel. But they just drafted Mick Abel out of high school. You don't know what he's going to do. I mean, that's it. That's all they have. They don't really have much of a farm system to work with. Sure, I'm sure there's some hidden gems in there. I'm sure there's some pretty good talent that that's not popping up on this screen at least. But according to this, there's only really one prospect in the top 100. I don't know. Can you count Mick Abel? I mean, I loved Mick Abel. I was hoping the Red Sox would draft him. But Mick Abel, he's out of high school. Sure, he's got a lot of promise. He's got a good pitcher's build, but I'm sure teams would love to take a flyer on him. But again, he was just drafted. So really, their only legit prospect is the number 28 prospect in all of baseball, Spencer Howard. So Dave Dombrowski, this could be his toughest task yet. What is Dave Dombrowski going to do with this Phillies team? If you take a look at the Phillies right now, the way they're constructed, just had their depth chart. I mean, what do you do if you're Dave Dombrowski? But Dave Dombrowski, he'll find a way to make some moves and some productive ones. He's going to swing and miss at a couple of deals too. But does he entertain offers for a Zach Wheeler? I mean, what else? Does he entertain offers for an Alec Boehm? Alec Boehm could probably bring in a couple of guys. Honestly, I would, as a Phillies fan, I think you would hate to see someone like Alec Boehm get traded away. But don't be surprised if he gets involved in a trade. Don't be surprised about that. I mean, I don't know. It really, here's where I'm at with the Phillies. I don't think he's going to come in and try and win right away. I think he's going to be a little sensible in that first year. I don't think he's going to try and build a World Series winner right away. I mean, of course, when he came to the Red Sox, it took a few years. So I think he's going to kind of make, I think, similar moves to what the Red Sox did. I think it's going to take a few years for the Phillies to really be a competitive team. Don't be surprised if they make the playoffs, but, this is the question is, what are they going to do? Could he maybe trade away at Bryce Harper? Could that be a possibility? I don't know. I think with Dave Dombrowski, I think anything is on the table. Could you trade away a Bryce Harper? It's a lot of money. That's a big deal. I mean, Bryce Harper, he has a no trade clause in there. I think I'm not sure if it's a full no trade clause or if it has certain teams on the list. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Dombrowski looks at someone like a Bryce Harper. I'd be very shocked if he traded away a Bryce Harper. But I think right now with a Dave Dombrowski, is Joe Schubert, is it a full no trade clause? I know he has a no trade clause, but I don't know if it's a full one or if it's just like a partial one where he has lists. Or like a list of a team, or a list of teams. But either way, whatever, he could approach Bryce Harper and say, hey, we're probably not going to win for a couple of years. You want to go to the Dodgers? You want to go somewhere? You want to go to the Giants? We got to trade here. So if he has a full no trade clause, then yeah, that's going to be a little problematic. I don't think they're going to trade Bryce Harper, but I think But yeah, David Knight, exactly. I agree. I think he signed here. If you remember going back to that offseason when he signed, he spent the whole offseason to sign. He didn't even sign until spring training had started, I believe. So he took a very long time to sign that contract. He took his time. So I would think he doesn't want to leave Philly. But I don't know. How's he going to feel about JT Realmuto maybe not coming back? I don't think they trade Bryce Harper. I don't think. But I think Dave Dombrowski, like I said, he's dealing Dave. He's I wouldn't be surprised to see Harper's name come up in some stuff, most likely kicking the tire kind of stuff, because really that's also a big contract. You're going to be able to move that contract. That's a lot, so he's the guy. Like, he is like your all-time player, like, for a while. Like, he is your forever player, Bryce Harper. So this is interesting. It does a lot here. I don't think there's really. I think honestly, what the Phillies are really going to have to do. I don't know. I'm no expert by any means, but maybe make some minor moves for the next year or two. Really try and add, work on adding prospects. But then again, I don't know if that's where it's going to be a real test for Dave Dombrowski, because he's so used to coming to these teams that have a farm system. And the thing with the Phillies is they don't have much of a farm system. So he's really going to have to really do some convincing, I think. He's going to have to pull off a couple of wins. That's the one thing with Dave Dombrowski. It's not that he just makes a lot of trades. He wins a lot of trades, too. He's going to lose his fair share of trades, but he's going to win a lot of trades, too. So he's really going to have to work his magic here with the Phillies. But the way I personally took this whole thing, kind of wrapping this up right now, the way I took this was, let me come back to you here. I took this as the Phillies just have no structure right now. I think they just had to lay off a lot of people. It just feels like the Phillies are in this weird spot right now, and I think they brought in this guy. It just seems like to me in that front office, a lot of papers were flying up in the air. People don't know what the heck people don't know what the heck's going on. People are getting frustrated. So it seems like to me they're like, all right, we got to bring this guy in. This is a guy that knows what he's doing. He knows how to keep a front office together. He knows how to run a front office. He knows what moves to make. He knows what to look for. I think this move to me felt like the Phillies were at a loss and they didn't really know what to do. And what they had at that moment wasn't working. That's how it came to me, because it's like you haven't heard of anything of the Phillies looking for a new guy to run everything. You have not heard of that at all this offseason. What you've heard with the Phillies is that they've had no money, and they're probably not going to bring JT Realmuto back. And so Phillies fans are not happy about that. Bryce Harper's probably not very happy about that. So that to me, that's what it seems like. So I don't know. As a guy that, as a Red Sox fan that got to experience Dave Dombrowski, I'm excited for Phillies fans. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I am interested to see, is that Nashville team ever going to happen? Is that going to ever be a thing? Because that's the last time you heard of Dave Dombrowski, was he was involved in this new team that could be starting up in Nashville, which I think would be awesome if he could still do that one day. But what do you think in the chat? I think this is interesting. What do you think? I rambled on a lot right there about Dave Dombrowski. But no, Jack Townsend, I am not a Phillies fan. I am a Red Sox fan. Been one for a long time. So, Joe Schubert, thank you for looking that up. So Bryce Harper does have a full no trade clause. So if Dave Dombrowski is going to try and work his magic by maybe dealing away at Bryce Harper, probably not going to happen, but he will have to get Bryce Harper to waive that no trade clause. So tell me in the chat what you think. Thumbs up for this? Thumbs down? I mean, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I like it. I can't help but like it, because he had success with the Red Sox. He had success with my team. This is going to be really interesting, and I think if you're a Phillies fan, I think you have to be excited. As a Phillies fan, I feel like you shouldn't expect a lot this offseason. I feel like this is going to be more of an evaluating kind of a year for Dave Dombrowski. He's going to kind of look at everything. He's going to come in. He's going to put his eyes on everything, and I think he's going to take a season here to kind of figure out, like, all right, this is what we need to do. But Michael Lopez, because I'm a Mets fan and he will make them worse. You know, it's funny because I've actually been seeing a lot of Mets fans on the Twitter sphere saying, why can't the Mets bring in a guy like this? So it's interesting you're saying that as a Mets fan, but I've also been seeing Mets fans not happy about this because they would love to have a guy like Dave Dombrowski. So we'll have to wait and see. Would the Phillies trade Howard for Salvi Perez? I don't think they're gonna. I don't think you trade Howard. I don't think you do it. I think he's your top prospect. I think if you trade him away, that's silly. I don't think you should. So anyway, that is all I have on Dave Dombrowski. I feel like I just talked for how long did I just talk about Dave Dombrowski? Like 30 minutes. So whatever. Here we go. Moving on to the next story. So I just mentioned the Mets. Interesting. We had a story yesterday. I was going to go live last night if it did become official, but it never became official. And that was James McCann going to the Mets. So I have the title here, Mets to sign James McCann or not. So last night or yesterday afternoon, I was jumping up and down because it looked like James McCann was going to sign with the Mets. Why was I jumping up and down about that? Because in my predictions for free agents this offseason, I predicted James McCann to go to the Mets. I was jumping up and down and I was saying, oh my goodness, I got one right. So when that happened, I was stoked. I was like, sweet. But then it just didn't seem like nothing was becoming official. And as time went on, nothing was happening with it. So we've been doing some reading here today. Let me come back to you here. So this was yesterday. The last update on MLB trade rumors, it was at 12 o'clock yesterday. So it says right here, the two sides do not yet have an agreement in place, tweets MLB.com's Anthony DiComo. Martino tweets that the Mets have indicated that they're willing to go 4 years. However, so the final haggling could be a matter of the exact dollar point. Now, this makes me think that another team is maybe swooping in at the last second and they said, whoa. We're hearing that the Mets are giving you this amount of money, but you know what? We can give you a little bit more. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's a team that's swooping in at the last second. They're trying to get this guy. They don't want James McCann to get away to the Mets. They saw the report. They made a phone call. They said, hey, what are they paying him? Oh, really? That's cute. We'll give him a little more. And I think James McCann, this is why this has not become official yet. I think there's another team, possibly maybe even another team that jumped in and said, hey, you know what? We can offer a little more than that because this came from what was it? Ken Rosenthal tweeted it. He tweeted yesterday at 12:26. Mets getting close with free agent catcher James McCann. It's expected to be 4 years. So Ken Rosenthal, he is a valuable source when it comes to baseball news. He is a very reputable source. He is very reliable. He's not very wrong all the time. So when you see Ken Rosenthal tweeting something out like this, you know it has to be pretty accurate. But and I'm not doubting Ken Rosenthal here. I'm thinking he heard that the Mets were close on James McCann, that they're pretty much just wrapping up the little details, and someone maybe like the Angels or, I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe the Yankees, maybe? They kicked open the door and they said, whoa, we are absolutely not going to let you sign that deal. We got a little more here for you. Come sit down. Let's have some coffee. Let's talk about this a little bit. That's what I'm thinking. And obviously, Orioles, yes, very good point. Maybe the Phillies called up and said, well, hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Ken Rosenthal is tweeting that the Mets are going to get him. We don't even have a catcher. We don't even have JT Realmuto. No, give this guy's agent a call right now. We need to do something about this. So I'm not surprised if this broke and other teams are starting to hear about it, and then phone calls started just coming in left and right. Because why hasn't he signed? Why has he not signed yet? Usually if you see a report like this from a guy like a Ken Rosenthal, you know it's pretty much almost a done deal. I think other teams came in. I think they swooped in. Also, this guy, Frank, I had to disagree with this guy. I'm sure a couple of you have maybe looked at this already. Oh, come on, Frank. Come on, Frank. This is not a big mistake. I like James McCann. This is not a big mistake. I said to this guy, much improved defense for McCann in the last couple of seasons. The stats show it. Better framing, better ability at throwing out runners, better defensive runs above average. He's a solid pickup. Why? Because he's not going to cost probably all that much money. Well, who knows? Maybe these other teams are really driving up the price. But come on, Frank. Come on. This is not a big mistake. Stop it. Go to sleep, Frank. This is not... Stop it. Stop it. This is not a big mistake. I like James McCann. I think this is a guy that's starting to come into his own offensively. He's not going to be a JT Realmuto or a Yasmani Grandal, but I think this is a guy that's going to give you solid defense, and he's not going to cost JT Realmuto money. So anyway, James McCann, what is going on with James McCann? I don't really know what's going on here. So nothing has really been updated. Nothing has really come to fruition on this. I don't know. There's no update. There's no updates at all. So that's what I think. I think James McCann, he had the pen out. Someone kicked the door open and said, nope. We got nope. Let's talk. Let's talk some contracts. So, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens here in the next couple of days. I'm sure we're going to hear something about this. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I think don't they have the winter meetings going on this week, like virtually? Like, God, isn't it? I hate this year, man. I love the winter meetings. I loved always checking in with Jeff Passan. There's just like nothing going on. How do you have the winter meetings virtually? How do you even do that? I don't know. I don't get it. Whatever. I hate this year. Dave Dombrowski's on the Phillies. What is going on? Anyway, let's come back. Here we go. So our next story. So let's kind of move into the trade market here a little bit. Not too, I think this offseason, because, supposedly a lot of teams are pretty down when it comes to money, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more trades. So one guy that is popping up a little bit, and it's not just him, there's a couple other guys on the Pirates as well that are popping up, but I use this guy as the main centerpiece, and that's Joe Musgrove. He's getting some interest from other teams. Teams are interested in possibly making a move for Joe Musgrove. I've been out on the record and said before, I think a Joe Musgrove trade to the Angels for a Brandon Marsh, I think would be a great deal. You got the Angels, they already got Joe Adell. They already got him playing out in right field. Brandon Marsh, where's he going to play? He's going to have to, who knows what's going to happen with that. I don't think you necessarily need to trade a Brandon Marsh if you're the Angels, but the Angels need starting pitching. Hey, Joe Musgrove's right there. I think Joe Musgrove is pretty good. I like Joe Musgrove a lot. Let's come to the story. So he is drawing interest. Let's bring the screen. Here we go. So it says here, Yankees, Pirates have discussed Jamison Taillon as well and Josh Bell. Where is the article where I had this? Oh, darn it. I had the article. Here we go. So these are the other two players. Here we go. So here we go. Pirates, Joe Musgrove, Adam Frazier mentioned most often in talks. So this is reported today. And I'm not surprised about this because what are the Pirates doing? I didn't even know the Pirates even existed. What do they even have going on? They have all these guys. They're like the Rangers of the National League. They have nothing going on. They got this owner that just never wants to spend money. But you got some guys here that could bring some prospects. Like, again, a Joe Musgrove. Why not trade Joe Musgrove? Unless like you have this 3-year plan where you're gonna go back to the playoffs and you just know you're going to be good. You're going to be good to go and you want to hang on to a Joe Musgrove for the long run. I don't know, but it's not surprising. It says here, a report surfaced yesterday linking two of the Pirates' most recognizable players. So this is the article that I just brought up. I'm not surprised to see a Josh Bell. I would not be surprised to see a Josh Bell get traded to an American League team. A team that needs a DH. I think you could see a Josh Bell go somewhere with a DH because the defense is absolutely atrocious with a Josh Bell, but he's going to hit some bombs. 37 home runs in 2019, hit an OPS of 936. He was an all-star that year. So Josh Bell, would not be surprised to see a Josh Bell be on the move. But Joe Musgrove, not the best year this year, but he's on a bad team. He was dealing, I think, with a triceps problem at one point. But Joe Musgrove, for the most part, is going to be really solid. I mean, look at this, 12 and a half strikeouts per nine. The walks did jump up a little bit. The FIP was really good, though, a 3.42, a 3.86 ERA, about 40 innings pitched. Joe Musgrove quietly had a good year this year. The only problem is his durability. Is he going to be able to stay on the field? 2018, he was limited to about 19 starts. But so he was dealing with the triceps a little. I don't know if it was the elbow. I know the triceps is obviously connected to the elbow, but I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't lead to any sort of elbow problems in the next couple of years. But I think Joe Musgrove is a guy where, I mean, he's 28 years old. Are the Pirates going to be able to, I mean, he's a free agent in a couple of years. So you got 2021, 2022. So he's got a couple more years until free agency. I feel like you could get a lot for this guy. I really think that. Unless they want to hang on to him for the trade deadline, I feel like they can get more for him then. But another interesting one is Jameson Taillon as well. I think I'm saying the name right. But this is a guy that actually, he had Tommy John surgery. So that's an interesting one. But this is a guy, him and Joe Musgrove are, these two young guys. Well, he's younger, I believe. No, he's 29 years old, so he's around the same age. He was drafted. He was the second overall pick by the Pirates back in the 2010 draft. So that's Jameson Taillon. You just haven't really heard too much of him. But he's had really solid numbers, not the best strikeout numbers that you would want, but I could definitely see this guy being involved in trade talks. But again, it's the triceps, it's the elbow, or not the triceps, sorry, that's Musgrove, but it's the elbow where he's going to be coming back from Tommy John eventually. So it's not surprising to me to teams to like kick the tires. Hey, how's he doing? How's the recovery going? Maybe they revisit this at the trade deadline or something. But Joe Musgrove, I mean, you could see a team like the Angels, maybe even a team like the Rockies, something like that. Teams that like need pitching. If we go to Joe Musgrove on Baseball Savant, I don't think I've actually looked up Joe Musgrove on Baseball Savant. So taking a look here. How are the advanced stats looking? Come on, Baseball Savant, help me out here. Alrighty, Joe Musgrove. I mean, look at these numbers. Popping off the charts. I mean, he's very good with the exit velocity. Does not give up a lot of hard hit percentage. He's got a good spin rate on the curveball. I mean, the fastball velocity, whatever. He sits in the lower 90s most of the time. I'm not really too concerned about this. He needs to limit the walks. His walks did jump up a little bit this past year. But again, whatever. He was getting more strikeouts, as shown by the whiff percentage. He was getting a lot more whiffs. Barrel percentage was really good. I mean, just overall, Joe Musgrove, I'm surprised we haven't heard his name more. I don't know why you're not hearing his name more. I mean, I think the Blue Jays could maybe pull off a deal for someone like him. The Angels could pull off a deal. Maybe the Padres go. I mean, I know they kind of just made a big trade for Clevinger. I don't know if they want to give up any more prospects for more pitching. Especially Joe Musgrove, he's a little iffy. They just had Mike Clevinger go down too. So I don't know. Do you want to? I mean, especially with Musgrove, he's had a little issues with the triceps. So do you really want to take a risk on a Joe Musgrove? I don't know. This is interesting. If we go to Fangraphs, let's take a look at some other teams that need some pitching. Could you maybe see the Twins? The Twins, that could be interesting. I mean, especially if they're not getting Jake Odorizzi back. Hold on, I don't want the Twins. Here we go. So, no, I want starting pitching. Okay. It makes me wonder too. I don't know if the Red Sox would go after Joe Musgrove. I don't think so. I think they're more looking to just get younger. They would have to give up prospects, and they don't really have much prospects to give up. A really fun one. I kind of look at this. I just love what the Royals have been doing this offseason. Could you imagine the Royals maybe going after a Joe Musgrove? That would be a pretty good rotation if you ask me. Brady Singer, Chris Bubic, Joe Musgrove in there. I mean, that'd be pretty good. You just added a Mike Minor. I'm leaving one of the names out. I can't fully remember, but the Royals could be a really fun team. They got some prospects. Maybe they want to make a little deal for a Joe Musgrove. You got a Danny Duffy there. Brad Keller, that's the name I was thinking of. You got Brady Singer, Keller, Bubic. You just brought in a Mike Minor. Joe Musgrove, I think, would be really a good addition for the Royals. I could see a team like the Royals doing that. They have prospects. Joe Musgrove what is he making? Joe Musgrove, what are you making? Is he still arbitration right now? Yeah, like he's not really making much money. I could see a team like the Royals doing it. The Royals are making moves, man. Look out for the Royals. But yeah, again, like a team like the Angels. I think the Angels are like a perfect fit for a Joe Musgrove. Where was Joe Musgrove actually born? I know that doesn't really, seem to be. Well, he was actually drafted by the Blue Jays, so that'd be interesting. Maybe the Blue Jays want to maybe go back to him. But yeah, he went to high school in California. I think that's where I was thinking, because that was another reason why the Angels were a good fit. The Angels could be a really good fit for him. The Blue Jays could be a really good fit for him. I don't know. I mean, could you maybe see the Rays maybe go after a Joe Musgrove? They got some prospects. He's not going to cost a lot of money. So what, I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. I don't know. I mean, again, you had the Twins, Jake Odorizzi, who knows if he's going to come back. They could go after a Musgrove. Could you see again, if you're Dave Dombrowski, sorry to talk about Dave Dombrowski. I've said that name like a million times already, but could you maybe pull off a trade for a Joe Musgrove? I don't know. I mean, will they have enough prospects to be able to do it? I don't think the Mets will do it. I think they're more focused on the free agent market. They got money. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities for a Joe Musgrove. Jameson Taillon, I think he's going to end up staying just because he had the Tommy John surgery. Josh Bell, I could easily see Josh Bell going somewhere. I don't know why, but I see a guy like Josh Bell. I don't think the Rangers would trade for him. I could see just like this, I don't know, I'm thinking like American League teams that could use a Josh Bell. I don't know. Mariners? Maybe the Twins look at him if Nelson Cruz doesn't come back. I think that's possible. The Indians just got rid of Carlos Santana. So maybe the Indians could look at a Josh Bell. That could be interesting. But yeah, so I don't know. Someone just said something in the chat. Joe Schubert. Yes, I am going to talk about that. That is a little interesting move that was made earlier. But yeah, this is interesting. I think Joe Musgrove, I personally think this is a guy where you could get a lot for him if you're the Pirates. And Adam Frazier too. Sorry, I left off Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier too. Adam Frazier is a guy where, here we go, not Todd Frazier, Adam Frazier. He's not going to be like, he's not going to blow you away. He's going to, he's kind of like this guy that can kind of just move around. He can play some second. He can play some outfield. He's like a utility player in a way. He'll give you some decent stuff. He's not really going to blow you away. His best OPS that he's done is a 798 OPS. Again, he kind of reminds me of like a poor man's like Whit Merrifield in a way. Like he's kind of, he can move around for you. He can play decent, but, he's just not as good as a Whit Merrifield. So Adam Frazier, honestly, if you're the Pirates, trade everyone. You got to tank for Kumar Rocker, man. You got to get Kumar Rocker, start building up that farm system. If you're the Pirates, why are you hanging on to these guys? Joe Musgrove, Adam Frazier, Josh Bell. Why? Get rid of these guys. Get prospects back. Goodness, that owner won't spend any money on anything. So it's like, all right, fine. If you're going to take the route of, really being a small market team, then okay, get prospects. You got guys that didn't get you far enough in the playoffs. Get rid of them. So, but those are my thoughts. Joe Musgrove, he could definitely get a lot back. Adam Frazier, I feel like they end up hanging on to an Adam Frazier. I don't think you're going to really get a ton back for him unless like maybe he's packaged with something. I don't know. I feel like you're going to hang on to an Adam Frazier if you're the Pirates. Josh Bell, I could see the Pirates getting rid of him. He does have power potential. The only problem with Josh Bell is he had a bit of a down year. He did have, he had a few home runs, but he just wasn't a very productive player. On base was a little low. OPS was low. And again, it was the shortened season. Who knows how the heck these guys on the Pirates are even mentally feeling, playing for the Pirates. Like it's, they're like the joke of baseball right now when it comes to just, they're terrible. So, I don't know. But that's all I got on the Pirates. So would not be surprised to see Joe Musgrove be on the move. So moving on, we are going to talk about our last story of the night. I will actually check in on one other story now that I'm saying that. But the last team to talk about tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays. This has honestly kind of become, to me, the joke of the offseason because the Blue Jays have been attached to basically every single player out in free agency and their mother. They are all over the place. Everyone that has been brought up, George Springer, J.T. Realmuto, Trevor Bauer, Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Blue Jays. You are seeing the Blue Jays everywhere. I love that they're active, but how embarrassing would it be if they are so active and their names are printed on everything related to every single player and they end up not getting anyone? So, with the Blue Jays, I think they got to do something this offseason. That would be a bust if they don't do anything. But I think they have the resources to do something. I think the Blue Jays, they're close, man. As a Red Sox fan, I hate the Blue Jays. But as a baseball fan, I love the Blue Jays. I love what they got going on. They got a good mix. They got a couple of good veterans there. Hyun-Jin Ryu. I like Grichuk. I love Teoscar Hernandez. I love the some of the older guys that they have. They're not even that old. But the young guys, Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, they got a lot of good pieces there. So I think I predicted this in my offseason predictions or by free agency predictions, and that's Justin Turner. The Blue Jays interested in Justin Turner. Again, it is kind of the joke of the offseason that they're interested in every single player. But are they ever going to get really serious? Are they actually going to pull the trigger on something? Are they going to be able to convince a team to come or convince a player to come to their team, to come to Canada? And I think Justin Turner would be a huge piece for them. I would love to see a guy like Justin Turner in Toronto. This guy is a winner. Sure, he's been dealing with some injuries, over the past couple of seasons, but Justin Turner is a guy. He is a guy where he is going to bring just a solid veteran presence into your team. And you know what? He's a Ginger. I have to support my fellow Gingers. That's just how it is. I love Justin Turner. I love him. I want to feel his furry ginger beard because we connect in that way. It's just the way it is. I can't help it. But I think he would be a really good addition to this Blue Jays team. They need a third baseman. Travis Shaw is no longer a Blue Jay. So I think I'm not surprised to see this. This is one prediction that I made. The Blue Jays getting Justin Turner. I think this could happen. I don't know why. I just feel like Justin Turner really might find this kind of intriguing. It would be a big move for him. He's been with the Dodgers now for how many years? He'd have to go all the way to Toronto. But I almost feel like Justin Turner, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know a Justin Turner. I'm not going to speak for a Justin Turner. But I feel like he could be interested in a possibility like this. He just won a World Series. He might be looking at this Blue Jays team and thinking, wow, you know what? They got a lot of potential over there. I'd like, I'll come over there on a 3-year deal. I'll be like that veteran leader for this team, kind of help this team get over the hump, help these young guys, step it up a little bit. But as you can see here, look at this is ridiculous. As of now, the Jays have been linked to Brad Hand, Liam Hendricks, Ha-Sung Kim, Mike Fiers, Marcell Ozuna, DJ LeMahieu, Colton Wong, George Springer, Garrett Richards, I can't even breathe, J.T. Realmuto, Michael Brantley, J.A. Happ, Kevin Gausman. They've also been connected to Francisco Lindor, Steven Matz, and Gene Segura. The Blue Jays are all over the place. They got to get someone. And I think Justin Turner, this is a guy, but to me, it's like with Justin Turner, I don't think he's going to get a lot of money. I think he'll get like a decent contract. I could see Justin Turner getting maybe $14 million a year, like something in that range, maybe $14-16 million a year. I could see that. Bring him in on like a 3-year, $40 million contract. I could see a Justin Turner signing that. And that sounds like a Blue Jays kind of a contract, they're not like a really cheap team, but they don't really give out these big contracts. I think their biggest contract of all time was, what was it, Russell Martin, 5 years or something like that for like $85 million. I think that's the biggest contract they ever gave out. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu was the second biggest contract they ever gave out. So Justin Turner, I could see this. I know it's kind of the joke to talk about how the Blue Jays are, they're interested in everyone, but this one I could actually see. I don't think they're going to get a JT Realmuto unless they have the money. I don't know if they have the money, but just based on their history, they just don't spend a ton of money. I don't know if they're going to go get a Marcell Ozuna. I don't think Marcell Ozuna really fits unless he's going to be the DH. I could see a DJ LeMahieu. I think they're going to add an infielder. I don't think they're going to go for an outfielder. I think they need pitching, and I think they need an infielder. I can see if you got like a DJ LeMahieu and I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a picture. I could, to be honest with you, I could maybe see a Mike Fiers going to the Blue Jays. I think that could actually be a possibility. You could maybe see a guy like a Brad Hand go to the Blue Jays. I think that's possible. Now, I really think as a baseball fan, I think it would be fun to see the Blue Jays make a trade for Francisco Lindor. I remember when the Blue Jays made the trade for David Price. Everyone was all aboard the Blue Jays train, and then David Price choked in the playoffs, and that was that. So, I could see the Blue Jays bringing in a guy like Justin Turner. I don't know why. It just feels right in my head. I don't really have like a reason for it. I don't know. I could easily see him going back to the Dodgers, something like that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. So, again, not really breaking news here. The Blue Jays are interested in everyone. They're probably going to sign your long-lost uncle, at some point, or at least they're going to be interested in him. Don't be surprised if they're interested in your fourth grade teacher, because they're interested in everyone. So, let's actually take a quick look at a couple of small moves that happened. This was one that happened earlier today. Rangers acquiring Nate Lowe from the Rays. I looked at these guys earlier, and I actually really liked the catcher that the Rays got. He's still pretty far away. They got Heriberto Hernandez. They also got an infielder, Osliv. You guys know I can't pronounce names anyway. How the heck am I going to pronounce that name? Oslivis Basabi. That's how I just pronounce it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Alexander Ovalis. But taking a look at Nate Lowe real quick. So, okay, first off, and let me actually say this. I was saying Brandon Lowe for the longest time, and everyone in the comments, and what video was it that I made? It was the video I made on I was wrong about the Tampa Bay Rays, and I was saying Brandon Lowe. Because every time I have seen the last name Lowe, I think Lowe. Because we had Derek Lowe, there's Nate Lowe on the team, and then all of a sudden I find out I'm saying Brandon Lowe completely wrong. And then instead of saying something about the video, the content that I posted, the only thing I think about 75% of those comments for that video was, You said Brandon Lowe wrong. You're saying it Lowe. You're supposed to say it like Brandon Lowe. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You don't have to keep telling me it. So anyway, but Nate Lowe, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Am I pronouncing it right? Rays fans, I hope. Nate Lowe. But anyway, sorry, I kind of just went on a little rant right there. But he's 25 years old. Not a bad year in 2019. He had a 779 OPS. Where did he get? He got drafted in the 13th round. How is he doing in the minor leagues? I haven't really looked too much at Nate Lowe. In the minors, okay, so he hit 300 in the minors. Okay, so if we go back to his last year in the minor, like his full year in the minor, 2018. Oh, wow. So he hit 330 in 2018 in the minor leagues. 27. Oh, wow. He was very good in the minor leagues. So now I know why people were pretty high on a Nate Lowe. So this is interesting. And you know what? With the Rangers, they just, wow. John Daniels. Wow, look at you. You're making some moves. I just made the connection that it was with the Rangers. Look at you. John Daniels, look at you. You traded Lance Lynn, and now you got Nate Lowe. Hey, good for you, man. I gave you a lot of crap at the trade deadline. You got a lot of crap at the trade deadline. Can we get a round of applause for John Daniels in the chat? John Daniels, if you're in here, hey, I love it. You're making moves. I love it. Thank you. Finally, you realize that your team is garbage, and you're finally making some moves. Finally. I mean, I'm just saying, that was so frustrating when you did not trade Lance Lynn. Don't give me this crap that he was going to opt out of his contract or he was going to opt out of the season. Give me a break. Give me a break. Really? If Lance Lynn was traded to a contender like the Yankees or the Braves, you're going to tell me Lance Lynn was going to opt out of that contract? Dude, go eat a bologna sandwich. That's hogwash. Don't even tell me. Don't even say it. No, he was probably going to opt out, so that's why we didn't trade him, because we weren't really going to get anything for him. Stop it. You just didn't make the move. You did not trade Lance Lynn. Now, I'm happy you made the move for Lance Lynn. Finally, you got a Dane Dunning out of it. So, but give me a break on that whole, like, stop it. Anyway, Nate Lowe. Good move here. Nate Lowe is still, he's only 25 years old. First base. It could be a pretty good power hitter for the Rays. But I really like the catcher. I was taking a look at his stats earlier today. And, wow, this is a guy, pretty good offensive numbers so far. He was drafted, or he wasn't drafted. He was signed out of the Dominican Republic. I mean, look how new this guy is. Baseball Reference doesn't even have a picture for him. There's no picture for Heriberto Hernandez. So anyway, but he's had pretty good numbers so far. I mean, he's really only played rookie ball. But overall, pretty good numbers. Look at the OPS, 1.099. 1.071, I mean, pretty good numbers. 1.079. These are really good numbers in the minor leagues so far. I mean, again, he hasn't gone higher than low A ball, but that's really promising when you look at these kind of numbers over 113 games. I mean, hey, the Rays, man, the Rays, they're pretty good at finding talent. So they see something here. Where was he? Heriberto Hernandez. Where was he? Is he on the Rangers' top prospect list now? Was he, or he had to be? Hold on. Okay. Where is he even? I wonder if they updated this already. Okay, I'm going to check the Rays. Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, those are pretty good numbers. They have Ronaldo Hernandez. Yeah, here he is. So he's the number 20 prospect right now with the Rays. So those are really good numbers. It says here he can play some outfield and first base as well. So, hey, good little move there from the Rays, and they are always really bad at trying to find a catcher. So taking a look at some of these other guys, Ozlivez Basabe. No picture here for him as well. He was signed out of Venezuela. He's 20 years old. So he's also been the same. He's gone as far as low A ball. But look at this, 334. Wow, 334. Is he on the Rays list already? Ozlivez Basabe? I can't even know if I'm saying it right. So he's not in the... No, he's right here. He's 28. So he's the number 28 prospect in the Rays system already. So, wow, look at that. And then Alexander Ovales. Again, no picture. Look at these guys. No pictures. Again, same thing. They got 3 players that are really far away. So, again, low. But look at this. 299. Look at the Rays, man. The Rays, they're just right back to what they're doing. What was this guy's name? Ovales? Is he on this list? No. So he's probably in their top 50, I would think, as of right now. Anyway, but good for the Rays, good trade. Hey, maybe the Rangers, they found something here with a Nate Lowe. Maybe he could be their first baseman for the next while. He's only 25 years old, so he has proven himself in the higher minor league level, and he's had some okay numbers so far, like nothing crazy. 770 OPS so far, but that's in his first 2 seasons. So, hey, I like what the Rangers are doing here. I think that's a good move for them to acquire a Nate Lowe. But the Rays, they're right back to what they're doing. It's going to take these guys probably a few years, a Heriberto Hernandez, an Ozlivez Basabe, and an Alexander Ovales. But these are guys that have put up some strong numbers so far in low A and rookie ball. So don't be surprised to see those guys in the next 5 years or so. So before I get out of here, let's take a look. Before I do get out of here, I'll take a look at some super chats. But if you can, incinerate that like button for me. That's going to help this. Oh, we got someone subscribing. Oh, right on time. Steven Gaming SG has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Thank you, thank you. But that reminds me, if you are here right now and you are not really sure what the heck is going on, we're talking baseball here all the time. So think about subscribing down below. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. That's the goal by opening day. If we can get to 5,000 by opening day, that would be awesome. If you can, hit that like button for me. Share the stream. The same old with the YouTube stuff. So let me read a couple of chats here. Dobbins, what do you think of Nick Pivetta? He hints dominant stuff. Yeah, I actually like Nick Pivetta. Ooh, we got someone else subscribing. Someone else is coming in. Adrian Avila, what is going on, my friend? Welcome to the channel. But yeah, Nick Pivetta, he's got a really good curveball, and I think that's why Chaim Bloom, he liked Pivetta. Chaim Bloom is really good at finding like these things like that are good about players that no one else really seems to notice. Nick Pivetta has a really good curveball. So don't be surprised. And Chaim Bloom, he was very big in setting up the developmental program for the Rays pitching. So Chaim Bloom, I think he's going to be really good for the Red Sox, because one area that the Red Sox have really struggled in is just simply developing pitchers. They don't do that very much. They had John Lester, they had Clay Buchholz, but, Tanner Houck, he is starting to emerge, so that hopefully he can keep it together, and hopefully he can, emerge as something with the Red Sox. They need anything at this point. But what the Red Sox really need, they need like a forever guy. They need a guy like a John Lester. They haven't had that in so long. They've brought in these guys like a Chris Sale, like a David Price. So they don't really have like this guy, that's their own. So John Lester is the last one that I can think of. So, Orioles. Yeah. So it's no surprise here to see the Phillies as the mystery team in on McCann. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's the Phillies or the Angels. I would not be surprised, but I'm telling you, James McCann, I think he had that pen ready, and I think if it was the Phillies, they kicked open that door and they said, whoa, hold on a second, my friend. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Dobbins. I think Chaim Bloom. I think he's gonna be really good for the Red Sox. They needed a new way of doing things. If you look at the Red Sox, 2004, 2007, 2013, those three teams were really built on farm system and development. Those are really big things for those teams. Every single one of those teams. That's why I like 2018. I really liked 2018. It had a good mix, but like I almost liked the other ones just as much because there were a lot more like homegrown players on those. 2018 didn't have like a ton of homegrown players. You had a couple. You had Xander Bogaerts, Devers, Jackie Bradley, Mookie Betts. They had a decent amount. I feel like, did they have more? Whatever. Either way, 2018 was really good. All of those teams were good, but player development, drafting, scouting, those are really big. And I don't think Dave Dombrowski was all that great. Well, Dave Dombrowski didn't draft any of those players. He didn't draft Xander Bogaerts. He didn't draft Jackie Bradley. He didn't draft Mookie Betts. So he was not the guy to do that. So they needed to bring in a guy like a Chaim Bloom that can really focus a lot on scouting and player development and, but also be able to make good moves. That's what makes a good GM, and that's why Theo Epstein was really good. So, yeah, that's why Ben Cherington for the Red Sox was, people give him a lot of flack, but that guy drafted a lot of those players for that 2018 team, and that guy was really good at bringing in a lot of those young players. But yeah, Steven Numersky, Dombrowski equals maybe win followed by 5 years of complete bankruptcy. But it's like, it's the Phillies is like, that's why like I'm so confused about it, because the Phillies, they've been saying this whole offseason they don't have any money and they don't have any farm system. So it's like, what are you going to do with Dave? What is Dave Dombrowski even going to do? That's what I'm so confused about. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see what the Phillies do. Hey, if you can get a World Series out of it, that'd be cool. I don't know, but I feel like Dave Dombrowski, I think he's going to be a little more sensible with the Phillies. I think he's going to he's not gonna go out there and start making all these deals, because really, what deals can he really make? He's gonna have to start off with like some minor kind of moves and kind of start working his way into like those bigger deals, unless like he has something up his sleeve. I don't know. But the Phillies brought him in for a reason. I really do think the Phillies, I think the ownership, I think they thought that front office was a mess. And that to me was right there, especially a guy like a Dave Dombrowski. You know, you're bringing in this guy and you're thinking, you know, yeah, we need someone to fix this. Like, this is not good. So, but yeah, A-Dobbs, Dombrowski, definitely in a tough position. Nick De La Torre, definitely Bauer to the Angels is a very, very good possibility. So, everyone, that is all I have for tonight. That is all the baseball news I have tonight. We've actually been here for a good while, hour and 20 minutes. Usually I'm here under an hour. So, yeah, we had a bit to talk about tonight. So, everyone, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are looking for more baseball content. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. Share the stream. Share the other videos. Also, don't forget to check out this video that I just posted today. Who is Tomoyuki Sagano? He's a free agent to keep an eye on. So, not really too much talk about Tomoyuki Sagano. He's the next Japanese pitcher that could be really good. So, definitely go check out that video. And, but yeah, that is all I have for tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. And if there's any more baseball news, I'll be right back here. So, thank you. Have a good night. And I'll talk to you next time.